Hello, welcome back to Algebra 1. Today we're doing lesson 14.7, solving quadratic equations by completing the square. So as in all of our lessons, this is building upon everything that we've learned already and advancing more on the quadratic equation side. So, if factoring were the only possible method of solving second degree equations, which you'll remember from our last lesson, that second degree equations involve more than one answer for the unknown number. We should not be able to find the roots of a quadratic equation like x squared minus x minus 8 equals 0 because we do not know how to factor x squared minus x minus 8 equals 0. Therefore, we must learn another method. So since x plus a squared is equal to x squared plus 2ax plus 8 squared, the general form of a square of a binomial is x squared plus 2ax plus a squared. So it is evident that an expression like x squared plus 2ax may be made a square by adding the term a squared, which is the square of half the coefficient of the term x. So let's solve some of these example problems that they have here. So if we have the equation x squared plus 6x equals negative 5. Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this number here, which is 6. We're going to divide that in half, get 3. And then we're going to take 3 and square it, which is 9. And then we're going to add 9 to both sides. So x squared plus 6x plus 9 is equal to negative 5 plus 9. Because what we're doing is we're adding that a squared in through all of this. This is basically what a squared is. Alright? So now x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals negative 5 plus 9, which is just 4. So now it's in a method that we're more comfortable with, and we can start working on it from here. So now we can factor this. So we're going to factor it out, which we can see is going to be x and x. And then we already know, because we've done it, that 3 is what we're going to need, because we need 3 plus 3. We also need 3 times 3. So we can have 3 and 3. And then 4 can be reduced down to 2 squared. So what we can do is actually rewrite this and say it's x plus 3 squared is equal to 2 squared. Because we want it in square form so that when we square root both sides to get x plus 3, we end up with just 2. Alright? But we also want to make sure that we know that this is a positive and a negative 2, because both positive and negative 2 will get us 4 if we square them. So now we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. So we have x is equal to negative 3 plus and minus 2. And that will give us our answers. So negative 3 plus 2 is going to, and then negative 3 minus 2. Gives us our answers for x, which is negative 1 and negative 5. Alright? Okay. Let's do another one just to make sure that we have it. So we'll erase our problems here. Alright, so if we have x squared minus 5x minus 14 equals 0. Well, this one has kind of already done it for us and giving us 14. However, we need something to solve it by. So we're going to take 5 and divide it by 2. Well, it can't be divided by 2, so we are left with 5 over 2. So we have x squared minus 5x plus 5 over 2. Remember, that's going to be squared, is equal to minus 14 is equal to 0 plus 5 over 2 squared. And then we're going to add 14 to both sides. So we now have x squared minus 5x plus 5 over 2 squared is equal to 14 plus 5 over 2 squared, because we want this side of the equation to be in the quadratic formula that we are used to seeing by now. And from here, we're able to start removing parentheses and squaring things out, leaving us with x squared minus 5x plus 5 over 2 squared equal to 14 plus 25 over 4, which all of this would then equal 81 over 4. So we can go ahead and just shift all of that so that reflects the new number. Alright, and then we want to find the square root of all of this here. So it's going to become x minus 5 over 2, which is equal to positive and negative 9 over 2 when we reduce this down. And then x is going to be equal to 5 over 2 plus and minus 9 over 2 when we add 5 over 2 to both sides. And then x is equal to 7 or negative 2, respectively. Okay? Alright, and again, to check these problems, you simply take either answer for x and plug it back into the equation, and you really want to do it with both if you're required to check them, just to make sure that you've definitely done them correctly and that both answers come out to be equal to the answer that they're asking for. Alright, so the following steps may be used to solve quadratic equations of the form a squared plus bx plus c equals 0 by completing the square. So you arrange the equations so that the term containing x squared and x are in one member and the known number is in the other member. Then we make 1 the coefficient of x squared. Then we complete the square by adding to each member a square of half the coefficient of x. Then we find the square root of both members, and then we solve the two linear equations that we have formed. Alright? Let's go ahead and do one of your problems from your classwork, just so that we can put it into practice and make sure that we understand what we're doing. So let's do number 2. Which is x squared minus 6x equals 7. So as we did in our first example, we're going to take 6, cut it in half, which is 3, and then square that. So we have 9. So we're going to have x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 7 plus 9. And then we've already done something similar to this in exercise 1. So we already know that this is going to be x minus 3 squared equal to 7 plus 9, which is 16. And then we can square root both sides, and we're left with 7, or x minus 3 is equal to positive and negative 4. Then we add 3 to both sides, and x is equal to 3 plus and minus 4, which leaves us with x equaling negative 1 or 7. Alright? So all of this, like I said, is building upon what we've already done and just advancing it a little bit further. So as long as you can understand how you get to the quadratic formula from there down, so from about here, once you can get to here, everything below it should be fairly simple and easy, as it's things that we've already done and already covered. You can go ahead and review some of the videos, which I'll put at the end of this video for you, so that you can review what we've already done in case you need a reminder. Alright, so for today's classwork, you're going to do 2 through 12 evens. For homework, you have 1 through 13 odds. And if you need any help, I do tutoring as well on tutorocean.com, and the link to that will be in my description, and I'll also put it down in this description as well for you. Otherwise, stay tuned for another video tomorrow, and I'll see you guys later.